You guys are watching NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. NFL head coaching hot seat is heating up. I guess pun intended. Black Monday is not that far away, and we've already seen 3 different coaches get canned. We're going to break down the other coaches still in danger of getting fired, but these are the 3 gigs open right now. Matt Rule out in Carolina. He is now the head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Steve Wilks, real chance to keep that job as the interim. Indianapolis has fired Frank Reich, and Jeff Saturday is, meeting expectations. They were pretty low as interim head coach of Indy. I don't think he should get that job. And most recently, Denver has fired Nathaniel Hackett. He is out. I think Reich and Hackett will find NFL jobs as OCs or whatever it is, head coaching for Frank Reich. But those are the 3 jobs open. Of these 3, what is the best job right now? All of them, like most jobs that come open, because they got fired for a reason. Normally the roster isn't that good. There's some concerns with those jobs. What do you think is the best one right now? Type P for the Panthers, C for the Colts, or B for the Denver Broncos. We're going to tier our hot seats. The number 1 tier, in fuego. And these coaches, or I should say coach, they're just in danger of being fired on Black Monday or maybe on Sunday night. Number 1, Kliff Kingsbury, the Cardinals head coach. There's a report that he might leave, and something tells me Kliff's going to end up at the Nick Saban School for Coaches Who Can't Coach Good and want them to do other stuff good too, because Kingsbury's Cardinals have collapsed in kind of shocking fashion, and the offense is the big reason why. I don't think Kliff and Kyler like each other that much, which is kind of a big deal. Your head coach and QB got to get along. Now, he just got paid. The GM just got paid and is taking a leave of absence. Kind of really going to see Steve Keim again. And they are 4-11. They've been terrible this year. I think Kliff is done in Arizona. Turns out you can't keep failing upward forever in your profession. How many more head coaches do you think, when it's all said and done, end up getting fired? Is it 0? Is it 1? 2? Could we get 3 more? Make those predictions in the pinned comments of today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and drop that number in the comment section. Hot seat tier number 2. You're a new coach, but we already saw 1 get fired. They make it the entire year. So number 2 is Lovie Smith of the Houston Texans. Now, last year, the Texans won 4 games, and they chose to fire their head coach. Best case scenario is the Houston Texans end the year on a 3-game winning streak and achieve slightly better results. I think we were all in agreement. The Texans' job was not a very good one. But 4-13 wasn't good enough last year. If Houston does not find a way to upset Jacksonville and Indy to end the season, why would 3-13-1 be good enough to keep the job? I'm sorry, but Lovie Smith was a wildly uninspiring hire. And I get that maybe nobody wants the Texans' job right now, and you just can't always keep firing your coaches year after year after year. But I don't think Lovie's a great coach. I really don't. I think time has passed him by. He was not good at Illinois either, by the way. Now, I don't know who they hire instead. They might do something weird. It's the Texans after all. But I think they should consider dumping Lovie Smith. It's a matter of when, not if, they go get somebody else. Might not be this year, but at some point they will. Number 3. Dennis Allen, the Saints head coach. Might be one and done there too, especially if New Orleans somehow, some way can bring back Sean Payton. I'm not convinced either of number 2 or number 3 get hired or fired, but they should feel their seats at least warmer than they should be after only 1 year. If you want to bet on the next head coach fired or anything around the NFL, do our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code NFL Daily for a 125% deposit bonus. $100 down, extra $125 for free. It is that simple, my friends. All you have to do is sign up using promo code NFL Daily at chatsports.com/bet. They've got even props you can bet on as well, like the next head coach fired. Kliff Kingsbury, unsurprisingly, by the way, is the betting favorite at -350. Lovie Smith is +500. Josh McDaniels, who we will get to in a little bit, is also on this list. Todd Bowles. There's Dennis Allen. We just talked about him. Kevin Stefanski. We'll get to all those other names on this list here in a little bit, but I think Kliff is the correct betting favorite. Hot seat tier number 3. Things are a little bit toasty right now, but I would be surprised if they got fired. Number 4, Kevin Stefanski. I know there are Browns fans who don't like Stefanski, want him fired. At minimum, you're going to have a defensive coordinator change, but he's an offensive guy. Deshaun Watson has come in, and the Browns are averaging a singular offensive touchdown per game. That's not good. And that's an offensive coach not delivering the way they need to. Now, there's plenty of blame to go around, but that's got to be figured out. Now, I think he gets one more year, but that is getting worse every season. You can't have that in the NFL. So even if Stefanski sticks around, he will be among the hottest seats next year. We had the odds. Now I want to hear from you. Who will be the next NFL head coach fired? Is it Stefanski, Kliff Kingsbury, somebody else? Prediction time for me in the comment section. Number 5, still a little toasty, Ron Rivera. Look, Riverboat Ron, which is a misnomer nickname because he's actually not that aggressive, is who he is. You're going to win 7 to 8 games pretty much every year, right? That's what he's been doing last 5 years, and I think they would have won 7 or 8 games in 2019. That's what they do. Now, I think they break the 7-win streak here, but if they make the playoffs, of course, he's not going to work. I think they miss it in the end, which is disappointing. I do think, by the way, all the uncertainty around that ownership will get Ron Rivera more time because they need something resembling a stabilizing influence. I don't think Rivera's an elite coach, but he is a stabilizer. He can keep things grounded enough to buy time for the inevitable regime change coming in terms of ownership. Special tier number 4 here. Playoff win needed. That's one coach and one coach. I almost put Brandon Staley here, but I think he's safe enough. But playoff win needed by McCarthy, right? If you can't beat what I assume will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or maybe Carolina in the wild card round, you should get fired. And it's not because McCarthy sucks as a coach. I don't think he does. I think he's done a great job this year in particular. They have not had their offensive line together for a singular game this season. They lost their quarterback for 5 games and rallied and stayed strong when under Garrett they would have collapsed. They kind of did in 2020 as well. I think Mike McCarthy has done a very good job in Dallas. But in part because Jerry Jones doesn't have time anymore and because of the expectations in Dallas, if they go one and done again and they lay an egg again, and with Sean Payton just lingering out there and Dan Quinn in position to get a job as well, I have a tough time seeing the Cowboys at that point choosing to keep Mike McCarthy. And I would certainly be advocating to fire Mike, even though I think he is a quality head coach, but he's not the play caller. If they collapse again, they just weren't ready for the first playoff game, I think Mike's got to go. Now, if you want more NFL videos, make sure you guys are subscribed. Free videos every single day right here on the Chat Sports YouTube channel. Hit that sub button right now. All right, Tier 5, guys that should be safe, but hey, stunners happen every now and then. And these are 4 names to consider here. Number 7 is Josh McDaniels. Would I fire him? Yes. Talk about choking away games, and that I think at that point you have to blame the coaching for. That has been the Raiders' routine. They should have been in the playoffs this year. The Raiders should be 9-6. You have blown multiple double-digit leads this year. Unacceptable. McDaniels has not done a great job, but I think the move to bench Derek Carr and with the lack of pure cash that owner Mark Davis has, I think the Raiders are going to stick around with McDaniels for at least one more year. Then we'll see. What do you think? Should the Raiders dump Josh McDaniels? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off in the comment section. Number 8, Todd Bowles. Look, Tampa's been a real disappointment. I think they do miss Bruce Arians, by the way, especially on offense. The defense has been fine. The offense just isn't looking very good. They're going to be a playoff team, I think. Now, if they miss the playoffs, things might change. I think Bowles gets at least one more year, but year one for Todd Bowles, I think we can all call it what it is, a disappointment. Now, number 9, I think Mike Vrabel is a top 10 NFL head coach. And if he were to get fired, I think it'd be a mistake by Tennessee, and I think there'd be a lot of interest at the collegiate ranks and the NFL ranks in adding Mike Vrabel. But they are on the verge of a historic collapse that really, and I mean really, should at least make you go, okay, we at least have the conversation. Tennessee, week 11, fresh off a 27-17 win over the Green Bay Packers, were 7-3, all but assured of locking up a playoff spot. At one point this year, folks, Tennessee had a 98% chance. They lose to the Bengals, Eagles, Jags, Chargers, and now Houston. They're probably going to sit their starters against the Cowboys. If they don't beat Jacksonville, folks, they will have lost 7 straight games to miss the playoffs. I think Vrabel's a great coach. I think that roster has issues, injuries included. I think there'll be a lot of interest in him. If they collapse, I think ownership at least talks about it, even though I would not fire him. Who do you think, sitting active, i.e. non-interim head coaches only, who do you think is the worst one in the NFL? Let me hear it. Drop a name in the comment section. Number 10, Arthur Smith. The Falcons this was a better year than they were supposed to be. They're kind of retooling. I'd be surprised if he got fired, but they also kind of collapsed down the stretch. Entering year 3, might be a bit more on the hot seat. I don't think he gets fired, but that Arthur Blank is a very impatient person sometimes. I could see him getting a bit more aggressive there.